so much. Dan, thank you. In 1983, I was had recently arrived in Florida, and I wanted to get involved in my party, and wanted to help, at that time, the Vice President of the United States and our extraordinary President of the United States. And so I ran for county chairman of Dade County in Miami, Florida. And for those that have not done this job, it's a thankless job. It is a completely thankless job. So I want to ask everybody to give a round of applause to your great chairman for doing this work. Back when I was doing it, there were a lot of people that were kind of focused on the marginal things occasionally, and my job as chairman was to get them focused on what the county committees ought to be doing, which is electing Republicans. Not telling them necessarily what they should be doing, but making sure they were conservative and then electing them. Because that's the only way that we can change the course of this country, is electing conservatives that have a principle-centered vision for the future of this country based on our timeless principles. And when we do it right, we win. When we don't do it well, we lose. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I know this to be true. And so I just appreciate all the support of people that are actively involved in the Republican cause here in Clinton County. I want to recognize a good friend of mine. You won't believe this, because when he stands up, and I hope you'll give him a round of applause, this guy has been served for how many years, Adam? 10 years, 12 years in the United States Congress, and now he's in his 6th year as Commissioner of Agriculture. Perhaps the most popular elected official in the state of Florida, Adam Putnam, is here. I mean, if you saw him, he is a baby. He looks like a baby. He's 41 years old, and he has done more extraordinary things to do exactly what I just said, applying conservative principles of limited government, of personal responsibility, of building the right kind of business climate. He's a true leader in our party. And Florida is a purple state, kind of like Iowa. We got 500,000 more Democrats than Republicans. But if you look at the landscape in Florida, because we're united, because we focus on winning, we win every race. We win all the time. And we have to win in this nation if we're going to be successful reversing the trends of the last 6 years, the last 7 years, which have really changed the course of our country. I'm a candidate for President of the United States because I believe we're on the verge of the greatest time to be alive. But it's going to require us to organize ourselves towards fixing the things that are broken. And if we do it, we'll see extraordinary economic activity. We'll make sure that our children and grandchildren have more opportunities than what was afforded us. We'll create safety and security for Americans and for the world, because America is an extraordinary place. Today, we have 2 competing sets of pessimisms. One of the president's party, led by Barack Obama, but embraced by Hillary Clinton, that believes that people have to be basically their liabilities, that we can solve their problems, but they have to get in line. Another spending program, another tax program, just a simple little change in the rules about business, and it'll all work out. That somehow if we outsource our own responsibility for our own dreams, Washington will solve it for us. And on the other side, there's a growing philosophy of pessimism as well. That the end is near, that everybody's an idiot, that no one can do anything. Well, here's what I know to be true. The American people aren't idiots. The American people want lids taken away from their aspirations. They want to achieve earned success. And it's up to us as conservatives to have a hopeful, optimistic message so that they can pursue their own dreams as they see fit. And the interaction of all of us together in this extraordinary country, in pursuit of our own dreams. We have a singer here that's going to be an extraordinary singer. I met a teacher. I know that there are people here that that want to do things in their own way. The interaction of all of us together creates more prosperity, more creativity, more innovation than any government program ever created. That is what makes America extraordinary and exceptional. And we need to restore that as the foundational principle of this great country. we get closer to the Iowa caucuses and beyond, the three questions that voters will ask are, who has the leadership skills to tackle the big challenges that right now are barriers for our own aspirations to come true? And who has the ideas and the vision to move the country forward? And who can win? Because talking about it isn't going to help. We have to win and we have to govern to be able to make our ideas come true. And the brutal savagery of Paris and the bombings in Lebanon and the taking down the plane in Egypt and the terrorist attack in Tunisia and the threats of terrorism in our own country and what's going on in Belgium and across the world makes this more relevant today than perhaps it was 3 weeks ago. We're electing a president of the United States, the commander-in-chief of the greatest armed forces ever created, a leader that needs to lead the world. And this president does not believe that America's leadership in the world is a force for good. Now, I don't ascribe bad motives to Barack Obama. It's really irrelevant what his motives are. He's just plain wrong about this. He is wrong. You can see it quite clearly when a caliphate the size of Indiana is created with 30,000 battle-tested, well-financed Islamic terrorists are now gaining energy each and every day. The president bragged three hours before the attacks in Paris that ISIS had been contained. Well, first of all, he was wrong. He was wrong that ISIS was the JV team as well, wasn't he? He is wrong even to have a strategy of containment, because a strategy of containment means every day that they exist is another day that they gain energy, recruiting new terrorists, not just to go to Syria to fight, but homegrown terrorists all across the world. And that's exactly what we're seeing. This morning in the papers there was reference to a new arm of ISIS being formed in Libya. This is the place that Hillary Clinton, even in the debate in Las Vegas, said was an example of success in foreign policy, of smart power. Really? Leading from behind led to smart power? No, it didn't. Because Libya today is completely chaotic. And ISIS now has formed a strong element in the eastern side of Libya that now is threatening Tunisia. The one example of how things could work out if America's leadership is strong. Here's what I believe. Without American leadership, we will have chaos in the Middle East. And with chaos in the Middle East, we are threatened in our homeland. We need to take out ISIS, not contain it. Have a strategy to destroy it. 3 months ago, before the terrorist attacks, not everybody in our party agreed with this, but I had the chance to go to the Reagan Library to lay out a comprehensive strategy to do just that, to take out ISIS. And it requires American leadership. We can't do this alone, but without Americans in the lead, no one else will follow. We need to create a no-fly zone in Syria. Now the argument today is because we pulled back that the Russians are there. That would create a conflict. Well, maybe Vladimir Putin and Russia should be more concerned about the United States than us being concerned about them. A no-fly zone works. We see the tragedy of 4 million people being uprooted, creating real challenges, obviously, for them, but also national security challenges for our own country and for Europe. Rather than find 4 million people homes in other countries, maybe we need safe zones so that we can build the remnants of the Syrian Free Army, train them, provide the support from Arab countries and European countries for the refugees to stay there safely, rather than come here or elsewhere. We need to directly arm the Kurds and make sure that the greatest fighting force that exists, is the strongest allies we have all the tools necessary to be effective. And we need to get the lawyers off the warfighters. This president has not said to the military, give me strategies to take out ISIS, give me options. He said the exact opposite. You can fight, he says, but we're going to have higher standards than protecting civilians, far higher standards than what international norms require. Every sortie has to be approved by the Department of Defense. And 75% of the sorties that leave the air bases to go drop their ordnances are sent back without dropping them. That is not how to fight a war. This is a president, and Hillary Clinton agrees, cannot use the word Islamic terrorism in the same sentence. If they have declared war on us, we need to declare war on them, and we will win. I know we can do this because we've taken on bigger challenges in our existence. Either you believe in the greatness of this country or you don't. And I believe that we need to have a commander-in-chief, not a divider-in-chief, not an agitator-in-chief, but a commander-in-chief that respects the military, that will have their back, and that uses it judiciously. But when we use it with fierce force to win, not to contain. Imagine a president that believes our country could grow at 4% per year again.